What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God. Welcome to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman, and with me today is a very special friend, Remy Bobo. Remy is a mom, a wife to the love of her life, Brandon, a part-time entrepreneur of the Woven Co., a faith-based clothing line, and just an all-around amazing human. Remy, welcome to Redefining Possible. I'm so glad you could join us today.
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you are a busy woman. You've got two littles.
Yes.
You are working full-time. You have the Woven Co. I mean, let's talk about, there's so much we could address, by the way. I mean, we could talk about the clothing company. Let's talk about first just a recent shift in your life, which is that you and your husband just recently moved into this new condo that truly was just this God-ordained thing. And it didn't mean that was easy.
No.
So for those who are watching and listening, I know there's a lot of people that are believing for homes. They're believing for, I mean, this is a big thing. So tell me, let's go back to that beginning of the story and unpack for me what happened.
Woof. Oh my goodness, it's so layered. And in today's economy and today's just like uncertainty, to find a home, it's an accomplishment. It's like a big feat. Yeah. So our journey has been just nothing short of miraculous, but also it's been a valley, like walking through that valley and just not really realizing, because sometimes you don't know when the valley ends. Like, I don't know. Most of the times when I'm in a valley, I just feel like, okay, either this is going to be quick or this is going to be long, but you really just don't know how long it's going to be in. So my husband and I have two boys, and we were in a 2-bedroom apartment, which we were just like completely outgrowing. But to buy a house, it's so expensive. We live in LA. Everything is just like boom, 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 just crazy. And I just returned to work.
Okay.
And it's a market where you just don't know.
Yeah.
So I like to hope big. I'm a big dreamer, and my husband is very practical because he is a realtor.
It's a
so
good
he
balance.
has like a practicality on like all things.
This is his world.
This is his world. Yeah. So not sure how much of the story you want me to tell, but I'll just like quickly tell the beginning of how my husband didn't know we were looking for a home.
Oh. We did not tell him that?
He didn't know. He didn't know that I spent my lunch hour on Zillow. He had no idea.
So you hadn't outgrown the current apartment to him and his.
Nope, he didn't know.
But you were thinking forward. You're thinking, I've got 2 babies. They need space.
Yeah.
This is not going to work much longer.
Yeah.
So you were there mentally.
Oh, yeah.
He was not there mentally.
No,
okay.
He was more like Q1 next year. We'll figure this out. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you say. But I'm talking to God on the side here. We're coming out with a plan. And I'm in this group chat with some ladies at church, and one of the moms is selling her home. She placed it in the chat, and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. And I wrote back like, oh, I wish I could afford this. This is really nice.
Yeah.
And I called my husband, and I told them they were moving, and I asked him to give them a call and see if we could make an offer on it. And he was like, babe,
to buy
no,
it,
that's ridiculous. To rent it.
To rent it, okay.
The house was for sale.
Yes.
So like my level of delusion, it's really next level. Like I will go after it. I am not a stranger to like ridiculous acts.
I love it.
So the house was for sale, and I'm like, let's rent it. He's like, that's crazy. It's like,
that's not what they're looking to do.
That's not how this works. It was on the market for an hour. Like literally an hour. Like you're losing your mind. So I'm like, just call him and see. So he calls me back, and he's like, babe, this is crazy. He said that we could come see it. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So we see it. And I'm like, this is incredible. Can we please make an offer?
Wow.
And he's like, well, the owner was like, I don't know if I'm going to rent it out or if I'm going to sell it.
They still really wanted to sell it.
They still really wanted to sell it, and they had a number in mind.
Okay.
That number was $50,000 over asking.
Wow.
And they're like, we're going for this number. And if we can't get it, we'll circle back to you. And I'm like, okay, fine. no, not fine.
Yeah.
I went back home that night, and my husband and I prayed about it, and I was like, babe, I want to make them a rental offer on this home that they're selling. Like, we need the space. So I walked into the place, and I instantly felt the Holy Spirit. Like, I knew that he resided there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, this just feels good. Because you can walk into a beautiful home any day and just be like, oh, that's a nice home. But like, there was something so warm about that space. My littles were just running through it. There was
You
just
had them with
space.
you?
I had them with me. They were running through it, and I just like took a step back, and I was like, this feels good. You know, like, this feels nice having space for my boys to run. We were in 1,200 square feet with 2 children and a dog.
It's a lot.
And so I say all that to say that I knew it was more than the beauty of the place. I knew it was more than the space. It was something that felt like we needed to be there. And we left, and you know how when the Lord wants you to do something, it just seems crazy?
Oh, always.
Yeah, and you're like,
always.
God, that is strange.
Yeah.
But that's how he does his best work. So the number that we came up with would have been or was like way below what it would have rented out for if it went on the market.
Wow.
Probably by like thousands, about like 2,000.
Wow.
And we made an offer at what was comfortable for us, and understanding that like they were probably going to say no, but I had such confidence.
Really had to try.
I had such confidence because, like, I don't know, when God tells you to do something that doesn't make any sense, it's always wise to just follow through and see how he can show up for you. So I followed through. Worst that could happen is a no, right?
Yep.
Follow through, and they came back to us and said, hey, we're going to accept your offer. We just feel like we want to bless you guys with this home. And we're like, are you serious? Like, no way. There's literally no way. And we're like, we're moving. We told our neighbors, we put in our 30-day notice. We go to church. My husband got rebaptized because
I didn't know this.
Yeah, he got
Wow.
rebaptized that following Sunday. So this was like a Thursday that we signed, still delivered all the paperwork. Went to church that Sunday, and he was like, I just feel God's provision over and over and over again. And I just want to like give him my yes over and over and over again.
I love that.
And he got baptized again, and we were just like on this high. And then
I love that.
we leave, and then sorry, I skipped a part. Earlier that morning before the baptism, the owners called us and said, hey guys, we have some news. And we're like, what? We got an offer for $50,000 over asking
to buy, which is what they'd been believing for.
Yep. And they were like, but we're not going to take it.
Wow.
We're going to go with you.
Okay.
Because we just feel like this is a place for y'all. Like, there's something about this that we just want to we want to bless you guys with this. And that's when we were like celebrating. Like you could not contain the joy that we had. We're like, what? $50K over asking, and you're still renting it to us?
Yeah.
I'm like, cash isn't king, Christ is king. That was like what we were joking about.
Love that.
So fast forward to the next day, he calls us back. Now it's Monday.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We have to pull the offer. We run the numbers, and we just can't rent it out for that price.
Yeah.
And we have to take this cash offer because of the market we're in.
Yeah.
Like, we don't think that this is going to come back around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrible time to sell a house right now and all the things. And we're just like,
and they were moving, so they needed a place for their family to be able to move into.
Exactly.
And so this was stressful for them of like, what if we, now it's affecting their financial.
oh yeah, because they didn't think they were going to get it, which is the only reason they offered it to us. Otherwise, they would have just like told us to hold
Kept
off.
it on the market. Yeah, of course.
So that was just like so devastating to me because we had already put in our 30-day notice.
At your current place.
At our current place.
Yeah.
We told our people goodbye. And there was just like so many elements of it. And I'm like, no, I can't understand why this is a no. Because when we canceled our lease at our current place, we thought that we were in a year lease. Right. They never filed our lease.
Which is already crazy.
So I'm like, wait, God, you mean to tell me that the place we're in right now, we actually don't have an agreement to be there? Like, so we can just leave?
We're month to month and we can go anytime.
And we both signed it. And we know we did, but it was never filed.
Wow.
So like that felt to me like a God wink.
Okay.
Like the fact that we didn't have
Like it's
the
okay to
lease,
go.
like it's okay to go. The fact that they were able to take the number that we could comfortably afford.
Which is crazy.
The fact
Yep.
that they didn't require like a massive investigation into our finances. Like I had just gone back to work
Yep.
at that time, maybe 3 months ago, and they only asked for 3 months of pay stubs. Like
Wow.
also crazy.
Which lined up with when you went
Which
back to
lined
work.
up from exactly
Yeah.
when I went back to work. And there were just so many instances that pointed to a check from God. Like, yes, yes, yes.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, God, I don't understand. How is this a no? Like, I don't get it. So my husband and I prayed because they gave us the ability to say like, sorry, we're still going to occupy your place. But that just didn't feel good to us.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't want
I get what you're
to.
saying.
Like, we know them and we love them.
Yeah.
Like, these are people we know.
And so you're in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And community with them.
Right.
They're also Christians.
Yeah.
And so you
Wanted to honor them.
You want to honor them. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and you understood where they were coming from, even though it was really painful. You understood like, hey, they're panicking. They're feeling like financially this is scary for
Yeah.
them to move. And they need the money.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys, you get that.
I get it.
It doesn't make it easier, but you were able to be like, okay, I understand,
Yeah.
but also, Lord, like this so clearly seemed to be you. So what's happening?
And that was the hardest part
Yeah.
because when something seems to be God and the answer is no, you start to question whether or not you hear God's voice.
Yeah.
And the answer is no, you start to question whether or not you hear God's voice.
Yeah.
So it was so hard for me because I felt confident in the yes because I felt confident in hearing his voice. So that just like brought up a whole another layer of like, God, do I hear you?
Like questioning.
Did I hear you when you told me to marry my husband? Did I hear you when you told me it was time to have children? Did I hear? And then you just start like the
it went into a
unraveling
spiral.
of like, do I hear you? Do I know you? Like, do you actually talk to me?
Wow.
And I just started to question everything. So I took some time off work, like a day.
Yeah.
And I went up to the church and I just journaled and I prayed, and he told me to pray for the people who are moving in.
Okay.
To surrender it and just pray for the people who are moving in. Wow. And I was like, no.
You're like, I want that to be us.
I don't want to.
I don't want
and
to pray
I'm just
for
like
other
this
people.
I'm just having a tantrum in my journal, like, God, this is just blah, blah, blah. And he's like, just pray over the people who's moving in. And that's the only thing I heard from him. I didn't hear anything else. I didn't hear my no is a no, get over it, move on. I just heard pray for them. So I spent like hours praying for the people who are going to be moving into that home.
Wow.
And it wasn't until then that I felt better. Until I prayed for the people moving in, that I was able to release it and surrender it fully. And there was a couple days that went past, and I realized I was still going through some anger issues surrounding it all. And I'm like, wow, God, you're really taking me on a journey here.
Yeah.
And he had to work through anger within my heart, had to work through ego in my husband's heart, had to work through pride and protection, and just like all of these things came out of this no. And to spoil the story, it ended up coming back around 30 days later.
Wow.
The day that we were meant to move in the first time, 30 days after that day, he called us and offered us the place again.
And you were able to stay in the current place because there was no lease. So let's stay.
Yeah.
That's a huge, huge thing.
We were able to stay, even though they filed the, what's it called when you have to leave? They filed the 30-day notice. They were able to redact it because, or not redact, what's the word? They were able to pull it because there was an application on the property.
Oh, great. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, God, maybe you just wanted to take us through 30 days of
This journey.
whatever it is that was in our heart that needed to come out.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know I still struggled with anger.
Yeah.
And sometimes God tells us no so he can prepare your heart for the yes. Even though it was always a yes. He's just like, oh, wait.
So, okay, so
You're not ready.
spoiler. So it ended up becoming a yes, and you did get, so tell us how that happened, like how you actually got the place.
So my husband and I were on a date, and sorry, that part, right? How he reached out to us?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So my husband and I were on a date, and he said, babe, don't look at your phone. And I said, why? He said, just don't look at your phone. I was like, okay. So we got home and he was like, the person texted us, and I just don't really want to deal with it. So
The gentleman that was selling the place.
yeah. And he's like, I just don't want to deal with it, so I don't want you to like see it. I'll handle it tomorrow. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. I was like, so what are you going to say? He said, no. Obviously, I'm going to say no.
Well,
And
what was the text first?
the text was the buyers. Oh, that part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. So the buyers ended up falling out of the deal.
Wow.
So they were unable to perform. They pulled out, and then the owners reached out to us.
To say, hey, we no longer
They
have
fell
this
out of escrow.
50,000 above cash offer. You know, are you guys still interested? Was it kind of like that? Just kind of, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So he sees the text, your husband sees the text, you see the text when you get home, and you're like, you know, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm just going to tell them no. Like, and then what did you say?
I said, can you just pray about it? Because I feel like your no is out of protection for me, because he saw like what the no did to me the first time. As I said, I feel like it's a little bit of protection for me, and I feel like it's also some ego, because you just don't want to deal with it. And I just want to make sure your no is pure.
Okay.
Because I've surrendered it.
So good.
I don't care at this point
Yeah.
whether we get it or not. And I just wanted to make sure that we were being obedient to God by properly spending time with him before saying yes or no. Like, if it's a no, it's a no. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, but it's still a no. I'll talk to God. That's not going to, the answer is no. So
I love that he'd already decided.
yeah,
what-
he's like,
what-
the answer's no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you just pray about it? So meanwhile, I'm praying on the back end, and I'm like, Lord, please allow Brandon to honor you with this decision. Allow him to bring you into this decision-making process. Speak to him clearly so he can lead our family in the right direction. Because as a wife, my role is to submit to my husband's authority.
Yeah.
And if my husband says no, then as a wife, I have to respect that and submit to that. But as a wife, I also want to make sure that I'm doing my job on the back end and interceding for him when it comes to his relationship with God.
Yes.
So
I love that.
praying, like, not, you know, stressing him about it, but talking to God about it and saying, like, Lord, convict his heart to come to you. And
Because whatever the answer, it was like,
Whatever the answer
have
is.
him, help him to be honoring.
Yeah.
Help him to be respectful. Help him to be, you know, to do this in a way that's a pure heart.
Yeah. And I also want to have the trust in my husband to know that when he's making big decisions for our family, that he's not doing that out of pride, that he's not
that's so
doing that
good.
out of ego.
That's so good.
That he's doing that out of a humble heart and a servant's heart who
that.
can allow God to say, like, yeah, even though that means opening yourself up to another, like to a possible, you know, to another heartache maybe.
We don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, that was like a journey for him as well. And then on Sunday, he's like, okay, fine. I talked to God. Let's go talk to him and see what happens. And I said, what did God reveal to you? And he said, honestly, he just showed me that it's not always as clear as it is for one person as it is for another person.
Oh, that's interesting.
And their original number was 850. So when they got that number, they felt like that was a
Their
yes
answered
from God.
prayer. Yeah.
And when we got the yes, we felt like it was an answered prayer. So how do you deal when you have two people thinking they have an answered prayer and the prayer and the answers are different?
They're totally different.
Yeah, on how the situation plays out.
Wow, that's so good.
So God just gave him that perspective, which I'm like, thank you, God, because you're so good in that way. Like,
So good.
you're so good to allow us to see things in a way that our ego clouds and our pride blurs. So like when we reach out to him and we're like, God, help me see this your way, he gives us compassion for people. So instead of being so like, oh, I'm hurt, I'm sad, it's like, oh wait, I can see how hard that was for you. So that was what God did through him. And when we got there, Brandon, my husband, was just like, that's a hard decision. Like, I get it, you know? Like, I probably would have had to do the same thing. Like, it doesn't make it any less heartbreaking for us that that's what happened, but I get it. And sometimes to just meet someone where they are, it's like, maybe that's the point, you know? Like, maybe that's what God wanted to do through Brandon, is like, give him a little bit more compassion and allow him to trust in him a little bit more. You just never know why he takes us through different detours. But if you're looking for him in it, you'll find him.
Yeah, I love it. So you guys stepped in, you went after church, you met with them, and then Brandon and the gentleman who was selling it, they had a conversation.
And
you
I'm
stayed out of
chasing the
it.
boys around.
Yeah, you stayed out of
my
this.
babies are there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I stayed out of it.
You've done your bit. You
Yeah.
stayed out of this. So how did that conversation go? And how did Brandon come back to you in it?
It was compassion, apology, unity.
Yeah.
And of course, like talking through the hard parts of it. And then he said, well, I want to give you guys this place if you still want it, same terms.
As the original terms.
As the original
so
terms.
same rent
yeah,
price,
same
so
rent
not
price,
increased rent.
Not
okay.
increased rent. And we also feel like they had to go through this too to have the peace with renting.
Yes.
You know?
Because they would have wondered what if they were trying to sell it.
Yeah.
You came through with something that wasn't what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And it also was lower financially than what they were looking for. So
Right.
I think that's a beautiful lesson from this story that, hey, maybe they needed to actually get offered everything they were looking for to find out it wasn't what they needed after all.
Exactly.
Which
Exactly.
is so beautiful.
Yeah, because sometimes we see something through the lens of how we interpret it, and that amount of money in cash seems like an answer to a lot of problems, especially when you already have to buy another house and you have family
And you're moving.
and you're like, there's a lot
moving
that,
states. It wasn't just like moving,
yeah,
it was moving out of state.
states.
Yeah.
So that to them felt like the answer, and that would have been the answer if that yes was allowed to happen. So I don't know, it's just weird how God just shows you when we think something feels so certain that oftentimes it's not.
Yeah.
At least in the way that we see it. Oftentimes it's just like a shift. Like I'm imagining the eye doctor and how it's blurry, then it's clear, then it's like changing again, and you're like, wait, which one is it?
Yeah. Well, we have such a limited perspective as well.
Which one is it?
Yeah. Well, we have such a limited perspective as well. So you're now in the place. You guys are living there. How are the boys loving it? How are you loving it? How's Brandon loving it? I mean, it came together.
It's such a gift. It's such a gift in so many ways. Our neighbor directly across from us has a 1-year-old. We have an 11-month-old and a 2-year-old. So they just like run back and forth into each other's homes. We leave our door open, they leave their door open. And it's so funny because we both grew up on the East Coast where you can like go to your neighbor's house without like, having to get in the car and drive somewhere or like cross a valley. So we always say like, that would be so cool. Like whatever happened to that? Now people have fences. You can't do that anymore. And we have this like very cool ability to just like leave our door open and the kids just run back and forth into the other person's home. And my boy like jumps up and down a lot because he's 2 and he loves to play. And I just recently found out that our neighbor beneath us, this probably should get cut. Our neighbor beneath us is deaf.
Okay.
And I'm like, God, this is crazy. Like we're not interrupting someone
not
by my
bothering.
child's loud voice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for some reason that part of the story made sense to me before I said it out
I
loud.
love that. No, I love it. Because it is.
But it's like
you're not upsetting a downstairs neighbor. Let's put it that way. You're not upsetting someone. You're not causing problems. Like truly, like I don't know that you would necessarily with kids. I mean, a lot of people have kids, and but neighbor, especially in different buildings, it's a condo. There is someone below you. There's someone I think above you too.
No, we're on the top floor.
Oh, you're on the top floor. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just you just never know. You don't want to cause. You're trying to be a good neighbor. You don't want to cause issues, but you do have. You've got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. Like you've got, you have littles, like real littles.
Oh yeah.
And
because we have a 3rd bedroom now, our littlest can get sleep trained and
in his own space, which is big, really big.
Which is, I mean, it's small to some people, but for us, like this is a big deal.
No, it's a big deal.
To be able to give your littlest a space where they can like learn how to sleep comfortably is a big deal. Because previously he was in our room. And
that's a whole different thing.
He can't sleep because he sees me and he's like, nah.
And it's also giving you all sleep back. I mean, maybe not last night, but because we did talk before we started with how you got 3 hours of sleep. But it is giving you and Brandon, mom and dad have separate space from baby too, which is just healthy all the way around.
Yeah, we need our space. We need separation between being parents and being spouses.
Yes.
Like, they, of course, happen at the same time all day long, but there is a point where we need to just be
The two of you.
something for each other.
Absolutely.
And not for the kids as well. So,
Well, tell me, okay, so you're in this amazing home.
Yeah.
And it's such just a blessing and a gift.
blessing.
I mean, tell me how this journey, I'm going to call it a journey because it really was like stops and starts and yes and no, and it wasn't directly from A to B. How has this really redefined how you see the Lord? Like how your faith and just how you see what God can do?
It showed me that was the perfect setup for God to do his best work. Like, when it seems like it's gonna work out, he doesn't really get as much glory as he should.
Wow.
But it takes
so
those
good.
situations where it just seems impossible, where it's like, Lord, we can't. You start to like count on what your human ability can do and what your current situation can produce.
What makes sense?
What
in your
makes
brain.
sense
In your brain, yeah.
And he does his best work when you can't figure it out.
I love that.
He does his best work when you're like, I can't afford that. We can't find $300,000 to put down on a house to live in LA. There's no way that any of these things can happen. And then he just comes in and he's like, but I will make a way. I am sovereign.
Yeah.
Like, my yes is final.
Yeah.
My yes is final. And yes, there may be a comma, there may be a parentheses in between.
Yes.
But his yes is final, and he's so faithful and he's so kind. So relying on his character throughout situations that seem impossible is like now what I'm finding myself doing. Like in the midst of something, just feeling like I can't do this. This is not going to end well. It's like, wait, I have a God who is bigger than my ability. I have a God who is bigger than my bank account.
So good.
I have a God who is bigger than anything that I can imagine. So if I focus on what my little influence can do, then I'll be stuck. But if I just surrender it and I'm like, hey, God, do your work, do your thing, come in and do that God thing. Come do that God thing where you make everything work out for the good.
Now tell me okay, because this is you and Brandon going through this together, obviously married couple with the family, but for the two of you together, how did this really redefine you all as husband and wife?
Oh my goodness, in a few ways.
I feel like there's some lessons in there.
Yeah, there is. One, he has this joke where he's like, you're God's favorite daughter, because like this is just crazy. Like the things you
so
ask
sweet.
God for, and it's giving him the confidence to ask God for more.
Stretching
and
his
not
faith.
to like ask God for more things, but even to ask God for more courage.
Oh, I love
and
that.
to ask God for more wisdom.
I love
because
that.
there's sometimes we look at asking God and we see it as a direct line to provision, as a direct line to like, hey God,
I need a
running
house.
a little low on gas. Can you just make me help? Just lift my car and land it at the gas station.
Yeah.
But sometimes we need the confidence.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need to say, hey Lord, can you remind me that I am made in your image? And it's that ask that sometimes we forget.
It is.
And for
I love
him,
that.
that's one of the things that like he's leaning into more after this big ask. He's just like, I want to ask God for more. Through the lens of expanding my character, through the lens of expanding even how he shows up for other people.
I love that. I love that. Well, and then how has it, for you personally, I mean, you already ask big, you're believing big, and I love that one of the things you wrote kind of in your notes when we were talking beforehand was just, believe that yes is yes. Like when the Lord says yes, believe it, even when it looks completely impossible and it looks like yes might be no.
Yeah.
Just
believe
if it's a yes, it's a yes.
Yeah.
And how has this experience for you just changed or maybe redefined what you think is possible for your life? I mean, just you as Remy.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the house, maybe even outside of like marriage and kids, just your things that, you're doing in your life, things you dream for.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. I would say that when, sorry, we have to cut all that. I'm losing
You're
it
good.
a little bit. I'm sleep deprived. Last week I fasted. And it was to prepare for this conversation today.
Wow,
and
I love
I
that.
felt like I could not hear God's voice as I was preparing. And I'm like, God, talk to me. Like, I miss you. Tell me what to talk about. Like, talk to me. So I'm fasting, I'm praying, I'm using my son's bedtime as my time to read my journal, I read my Bible as he's falling asleep. And I just didn't feel like I was hearing God's voice. And I'm like, have you left me? Like, what's going on?
Aw.
And up until this morning, I still felt like, God, hello, talk to me.
like,
What do you want
what's
me to
happening?
focus on today? And I'm like yelling at him, like, God, talk to me. And I realized that when he doesn't answer me through clarity of his voice, he answers me through grace and what it is that I am like dealing with in that moment. So like, I thought that I wasn't going to make it today. I thought I was going to have to cancel because I got no sleep. He provided me with energy,
Which is amazing.
to be here today. And like the way he worked out my morning, like it is, he doesn't always answer you in words, but like he'll pave the way for you to just trust him.
Circumstances can be an answer.
Yeah,
For sure. And it's funny, I'm laughing because I didn't know until you kind of walked in today that you had been wondering, like, what are we talking about? And it's the thing that hits my heart about that is like you and I had already decided what we were talking about, and so
I wondered if he
there was
wanted me
nothing
to
more
talk
for him to
something.
say. I was like, honestly, there was nothing more. It was like, this has already been discussed and decided, and so, you know, and you're like, you're asking for something he already gave an answer to. So
I
it's
know,
like there's
I'm
nothing.
complicated.
It's so it reminds me of like when navigation's not my thing.
Yeah.
So GPS, I love some GPS in the car. But when you're going straight, there's no reminder to keep going. It's just like, the only time the GPS pops in is like, take
Turn
a right
left.
in 2 miles, turn left in 3 miles.
Oh my God, that's so true.
So when you're going straight, there's nothing more to say. Just keep going. So that's what the first thing I thought of when you shared that. I was like, oh, well, like he'd already told you. Like
so
there was
good.
nothing else to say, but just keep going. Like
Oh my God, hold
there was
my
no change of
hand.
direction needed. You were already on track. So some of that, I love it. I love that. I'm so sorry that was such an anxiety for you this morning, but I love that.
Oh my
because
goodness.
it's also like, hey, like you are hearing and you heard and you already had advance awareness and prep and discussion and conversation, and like just there's no pressure that's needed off of that.
Yeah. That's so funny. I didn't even think of it that way. I'm just like, God,
girl, it's the first thing I thought
did
of.
you mute me?
No.
Are you getting my
No.
calls? Like,
No.
what's going on? And
So I give that to you as a gift because it's like I could see where you might think, oh, he was withholding something or not saying something. And it's like, no, actually, you already had everything you needed.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to say. Like,
so interesting.
until it's time to take a turn and do something different, you just keep doing what you're doing. Like you're on the right track.
There's the word right there. So I guess the lesson is stay the course.
Like ask, but if you don't hear anything, it's like you might have already gotten the answer.
Yeah, you might just be on the track
You
that
might
I want you
already
on.
just be going down the right road. And
wow, that's so good.
So in this, I mean, the boys are obviously really little. They're not going to remember any of this. What is a lesson that, as you and Brandon are down the road, years down the road, telling them the story of this first little home, what is the lesson that you want them to take from it? Like, what would you hope that they would gain for themselves? What would you hope that they would gain for themselves?
To know that God cares about the little things, to know that he cares about just like providing people into our lives to be obedient to him. And it's so funny because my oldest is 2, and when we first moved into the house, prior to moving into the house, we brought him there a couple times, so he had been
like
there
to
a few
visit,
times.
so he knew the space.
But he also knew the person.
Oh,
So let's just call him John.
Yep.
He knew John.
The sellers,
The
is what you're saying, or the renters, I guess.
He knew the sellers. Yeah. So he knew the owners.
Yes.
So for the first couple days, he would be like, we're at John's house. Is John going to come back?
Wow.
And we're like, no, baby, this is our house. He's like, John gave us his house?
Oh, that's adorable.
So for like a while, he thought that John was going to come back.
And well, because he made that association,
Yeah, because he
which
had
makes sense.
met him there
Yeah.
all of the 3 times he'd been there.
Yeah.
John was there.
Yeah.
And we just kept saying, like, no, baby, God provided this house through John to give to us.
Yes, I love that.
So every time when we say his prayers, he's like, thank you, God, for this house, and thank you, God, for John.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
So
he's blessing.
Yeah, so he understands that the Lord uses people.
I love that.
And it's so interesting that he's 2, and he associates, like, our car broke down the other week, and it was a person at church who let us borrow their car for a whole week.
Oh, that's amazing.
And Malachi kept saying, we're driving our friend's car. We're driving our friend's car. Like, he's aware when the Lord is doing something through people.
And that's so big.
He knows it's not mommy and daddy who's making all these things happen for him.
Yep.
He knows it's the Lord, and he knows that the Lord uses people
and that's
to advance his
actually
agenda.
one of the Lord's primary ways is to use people. I mean, that's part of why we're here. Is to be those vessels for each other. And I love that, you know, even at 2, again, granted his like long-term memory is, they say it's not developed till really 5, but so, you know, but he'll be remembering these stories through you all, you know, retelling them, and that you have this awareness of him even in this moment of saying, like, you know, yes, like we have this house, the Lord provided this house through John and his family, and just at that little, just his 2-year-old knowledge and 2-year-old faith. And I love, you know, like I love the faith that Malachi is showing in this, like just the faith of a child. I mean, that's got to challenge you and Brandon too a little bit. That's a stretch, is when kids kind of step in and you're just like, ooh, I'm convicted right now.
He goes, Mama, we're home. And it's like the sweetest thing. It's like every time we pull in, he's like, oh, we're going home. We're at the big home. We're not going to the other home. Like when we first moved, he's like, we're home.
And he calls it the big home.
He calls it the big home.
I love it. Not to be confused with the big house, because that would be wrong. But the big home. I love it. Oh my gosh.
So he's sweet. He's like, this is my room? And that's Gabriel's room?
Like
no, that's my room too. Malachi has 2 rooms.
Yes.
So he thinks
we are teaching him that his brother's room is not his.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that lesson. That also comes with just having a little brother of like, is he staying?
It's sweet. It's
so
it's a
sweet.
good time. It's a very precious time.
Well, and how has this increased your faith for Woven Co., for work, for other areas of your life? Because this is one of those things that it's impacted family, it's impacted you, it's impacted Brandon, it's impacted the kids, but it has to touch other areas of your life. So tell me, like, what have you seen just change in other areas, you know, as a result of all of the way the Lord's come through in this?
I can't tell this story without the Word God. And that has been something, like I work not at a Christian place. So when people found out that I moved and they want to, like, you know, talk about it, I'm like, God really came through. So it's given me the confidence to talk to people who I don't know their faith. Like the Woven Co. is a Christian
faith-based,
brand.
right? So you're talking about your full-time
whenever
job.
I'm talking about the Woven Co., it's like I'm talking
That's
to
different.
someone who is obviously a believer, who cares about the Lord enough to want to know about my clothes.
Right.
But when I'm at the workplace and they want to talk about my home, I'm like, it was the Lord. Like,
and we'll just say you work in entertainment. So I'll say, like, it's not the name of the company, but you are in entertainment.
Oh yeah, I'm in entertainment.
There are Christians there. There are believers there. There's a lot of beautiful people. You know, that are a ton of beautiful people.
But you
in the
just
industry,
don't know.
But you don't know
Originally,
so you don't want to go
like-
with like an assumption one way or the other. Yeah.
And I would err on the end of maybe they're not a Christian. Typically,
so you would not say something.
So I would often allude to certain things. Like, I never really talked about my faith much at work. And there's no way that I can avoid talking about my faith at work. Like, that's what this job, that's what this gift of this home did. Was like, I can't talk, because I told all my coworkers that I'm no longer moving. And then 30 days later, I'm moving. They're like, well, what happened? Yeah. And I have to tell them the story of how, like, God came through.
And because you can't,
I can't tell the story.
Impossible. It is. You're like, there was no reason. They had a cash offer that was $50,000 over asking. It was exactly the amount, happened to also be exactly the amount they wanted, and then 30 days later, everything fell through.
There's no way you can tell
it came back around.
Without God. So it's God is spilling over into my career, And I love it. Like, I love being able to say that that God made a way for me, and then just genuinely telling people about my experience with Jesus without feeling ashamed or without feeling embarrassed.
That's good. And you're just telling your story of like, this is a miracle of how this all came about. And just by simply sharing the story, you're also bragging on God. But it's like you said, you can't tell the story without also helping people understand, like, hey, this is not something, it was something we believed for. And we thought it was ours, and then it wasn't ours, and then it was. And so just how all of that happened was so out of your hands. And so for folks who are, you know, I love that. I love that that is just by the, I mean, that's the power of testimony, but just by sharing your story, it's also saying like, hey, this stuff is real and it happens. And that would be my next question to you, is for folks who are facing something that looks impossible. You know, maybe it's housing, maybe it's, you know, a car, maybe it's whatever. What would be your piece of advice to somebody who's watching or listening that is facing something that really looks impossible for them?
I'd say impossible is what God does. Like, impossible is his business. Like, that's where he does his best work. And to just know that he's the author of today and tomorrow, because sometimes we get so worried about tomorrow that it causes fear instead of giving us the confidence to have faith. So I would say, in the midst of your uncertainty, in the midst of your impossible situation, just know that there is a God who is so intimate and who cares so deeply about the things that you're experiencing and about the things that you want, and about the things that your heart desires. And when we align our heart with his, it's just a matter of time for things to start making sense and for things to start happening for us. And it doesn't always look how we wanted it to look. It doesn't always look that way. But when it does happen, it ends up being a better story because it's the one that we allow God to tell. Because we could always just do it ourselves and like ignore him and, you know, work, strive, hustle, fight. But there's so much in surrender. There's so much that can happen through surrender that can't happen through striving, that can't happen through fighting. Like, when we just like literally rest it and we lay it at his feet, wait and see what he can do. Literally just wait and see what he can do. Have faith, have hope, but wait and see what he can do, and you'll be so shocked by what he can do. Which is way cooler than what we can do on our own. So.
It's just, he does write the best stories.
He writes the best stories.
I'll be honest. I mean, our lives are the stories he's writing. And so I love that so much. And I really believe that's going to touch so many hearts today. Oh my gosh.
Remy, knowing that he cares about us. Like, he really cares. like, he loves us deeply.
It's so good.
Like, he knows us deeply.
It's good. Thank you so much for coming today. I have loved having you. You are such a gem. Oh my gosh. Thank you all again for joining us on this episode of Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman. Can't wait to see you next time. What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God.